Hi everyone, welcome to Clutch Entertainment today, and today we're here at the Lemay Firehouse with Jason. He is the, what's your title?
Lieutenant. I'm also the Public Information Officer for the Lemay Fire District.
Okay, so what do you handle a lot of?
In regards to?
Like with the Public Information Officer.
So my collateral duty as Public Information Officer is dealing with the media. Anytime we have a major incident or a high-profile incident, I'll talk to the media, answer their questions, and we'll go from there.
Oh, nice, nice. So yeah, we're going to be going through this. We're going to be talking about this with him, and we're going to talk about some questions, like what some of the things the firefighters go through, and paramedics, and you're a firefighter paramedic too, right?
Yes, yes.
So yeah, so he's trained in both ways, and we'll go through a bunch of different things within this, and we'll get right into it.
All right, sounds good.
So first off, how many calls per day do you typically get, like as far as like fire and ambulance?
We average 10 calls a day. Some days that could be 20, some days that could be 8, but typically it's right around that 10 to 12 mark. Most of them are EMS calls, assisting people with various medical issues to overdoses to traffic accidents. And then the smaller portion of our calls is fire related, but just as important.
Gotcha. Like, is there a certain time of the year that like it picks up more, or?
Yeah, our busiest times of year is usually right when the cold starts to hit and people are firing up their furnaces and fireplaces, and then just once you start getting inclement weather and ice and snow on the ground, that's busy for us. And then also the exact opposite when August hits and it gets really hot and things start happening. So August and January typically are our busiest months.
Gotcha. So like a lot of gas smells and stuff like that too?
That's continuous all year long.
That's all
Any kind of like
okay.
hazardous odors or odor of gas or anything like that happens all year long.
Okay, okay. What's some good ways or tips, to be ready when you call 911? Like when you call 911 in general, for the operators, for you guys to operate well.
Our 911 system is a very elaborate system in St. Louis County. It's one of the best in the country. So they're trained to prompt you questions, ask you questions, even with GPS, and most people have cell phones now. They can ping exactly where you're at. So even if you don't know what address you're at, they'll be able to find you and let us know where you're at, or at least if you're in a vehicle, at least know what kind of vehicle or what color vehicle you're in is helpful. But it's always good to know your address, just as a secondary backup of where the call's at.
Do you think the address is the only thing you need most of the time, like or do you need like more information, like what's going on or such like that?
Yeah, they'll prompt them questions like, what is your emergency? If it's medical or fire related, then it'll automatically get transferred over to the fire dispatcher. Mm-hmm. If it's police, then it's going to go over to the police department and they'll handle it. But yeah, just, what are you calling for? Are you near somebody that's unconscious, needs help up? Just knowing, just being able to paint a story a little bit for the 911 call taker and let us know what we're going to.
Gotcha.
We like to get as much information as possible before we get there.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about like collaboration between like the police and the fire? Like how does that work? Like do you share the same radio or?
No, we work on 2 different radio systems. Oftentimes we'll just contact our dispatch if we need a police officer, and then they'll contact the police department through that way. So we do it all through our dispatch. Mm-hmm. On any major incidents, we can share radio frequencies and talk to each other. Even for other large events like JB Blast, we'll all be on the same radio frequency for those events. But we do have a way to talk to each other, but they are different radio systems.
Oh, okay. What is something that you wish that people knew when trying to contact you guys? Is there anything in particular,
That's a tough question. New as far as what? Like
that you knew, like if there, something's going on or such, or is it just something that's like general information? You just want to know the general gist of things, basically, when trying to contact you. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I would just say that, make sure you really need us, because we do run a lot of calls that, or a lot of people call for various things that are not emergencies. We're here as an emergency service. Of course, we're always seeking opportunities to serve and help people, and we're going to answer the call. Mm-hmm. But always, maybe the fire department or an ambulance isn't warranted for you know, to plug in your microwave or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The fire department has definitely became an all hazards response. We respond to everything, whether it's hazardous materials, smoke in the area, my alarm's going off, I can't start my car. Like, people call us for all kinds of things. So, like, our request is call us if it's an emergency. we don't mind helping, but you can always call the Firehouse too if you have just a regular request for
just a non-emergency
yes.
kind of thing. Okay. What about like do you have any like general stories that are kind of crazy that are like not so much medical related, but like say somebody calls in about something silly or something?
No, not in particular, but I will say, like, you know, every day we come into work, you never know what you're going to get. You know, it's part of the exciting part about the job. It's not mundane. Every day's different. And even when we're not extremely busy, you know, like we spend that extra time training, going over tools, making sure like everything works properly. It's where it's supposed to be. Just always being ready.
That's good. That's good. What about like, do you have like daily meetings? Like, is that part of your routine daily, or how's that work? Your daily routine?
Yeah, our daily routine. We do shift change at 7:30. Between 7:30 and 8, we usually talk to the other crew, kind of see what's going on the last couple of days that they were working. And then we usually start working like right at 8. We'll start checking the trucks, going through everything, making sure all of our gear is ready to go. Once we get that done, we'll usually go into training for a couple hours a day. We'll go over some of our procedures, and all the training varies as well. Like, we have a schedule that we set out the whole year, so we know what to plan for and make sure it's legitimate training and not just something that you're pulling out last minute.
Right.
It's making sure that there's value to the training. We do have a very robust training program to make sure that we're staying on top of things and being the best that we can possibly be.
Okay. What about like your shifts? Like, how long are your shifts? Are they like 12-hour shifts or?
Our shifts are 48-hour shifts. So we have 3 different crews. We have an A, B, and C crew.
Okay.
Each crew works 48 hours, and then they're off 96 hours. So you work 2 days, you're off 4 days. So that's how the shifts work.
Gotcha. That sounds pretty nice to get 4 days out in a row.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What about like, as far as like, you know, becoming a firefighter, say like somebody wants to become a firefighter paramedic, like what's the training degree required for that?
So you have to go through the St. Louis County Fire Academy. That's I believe it's about 13 weeks now. Just that evolves just like everything else has evolved. Like I was saying before, we're becoming more of an all hazards kind of business. So we have to always keep learning new things that are outside of just fighting fires.
Right.
So you have to go through the St. Louis County Fire Academy, and then you also have to become a paramedic. Paramedic is the highest level that you can go in the EMS field, besides a critical care paramedic, which is kind of a side of a paramedic. But
right.
So altogether, you're looking about 2 to 2.5 years of school.
Okay. Is there like a fitness test at all you have to do, or?
Yeah, there's a fitness test that is done at the Fire Academy. It's called a CPAT test. You can look that up and see what the specifics are on that. But then internally, we also have our own fitness test, and we do that every year. It's fun for us to do, to see kind of a little competitive, to see where we're at, physically fit, and it kind of helps hold us accountable as well on our fitness level, because that's obviously an extremely important part of the job.
Yeah, eating right and exercising, that's for sure.
Right. You know, because we can get a call at 2:30 in the morning, and you're going sleeping from going, a heart rate of 45 to a heart rate, of 170 within 5 minutes, and working extremely hard. So physical fitness is extremely important with our line of work.
Gotcha. Do you ever have any issues with like firefighters or paramedics on the job having mental issues, or like being overly stressed or anything like that?
Yeah, not specifically here, but overall in the fire service, it's a growing concern. We have the same issues that are very similar to the military, just because of the nature of our work, with suicides and depression and those kinds of things,
like
and
PTSD
as well. But we have resources that we can that are set up by the fire chief and the fire district here.
Oh, that's nice.
That we can utilize if we have those kinds of issues, that somebody can easily contact them. It's private. Nobody else here has to know about it. It's a really nice resource.
So you can get like counseling and stuff too.
Yes.
That's nice. That's nice. What do you think the biggest challenge of being a firefighter paramedic is?
As nice as the schedules sound, before, it is nice to have 4 days off in a row, but that first day you go home is pretty much a recovery day. And then also being gone 2 days in a row. For example, one of our crews this year, they work Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Oh my goodness.
So, and then by the time that you get a little bit older and you start having a family and now you're missing a lot of your family time, your kids' soccer games, baseball games, a lot of family time. So the schedule is great, but it's also not great. Just because, and it's mostly just because we work full, we work all day long.
Yeah, and it kills your routine probably too.
It does.
Because you get in a routine and then you're like, oh, I got to go to this routine, and then you go back to another routine. So that could be difficult. What about like overnights? How are overnights typically? Do you typically sleep, or do you typically like?
We try to sleep. We're all like pretty light sleepers, because we're expecting to get up. We get up almost every night, once or twice.
Is it like an alarm bell or something that goes off?
Yeah, we have a system that comes out and you can hear it, and then the lights turn on.
Oh, okay.
So, and then, at night you have a minute and a half to get to the truck and get rolling out the door. So,
yeah. No
so
morning coffee or anything.
No. So you just get up and go.
Gotcha. What about like weather preparedness? Like, do you like have to like prepare extra for like a severe storm or like snowstorm or anything like that, or ice storm? Like, how do you get over to somebody if you're having those hazards out?
Yeah, well, we definitely have salt on the truck in the wintertime. In the summertime, we usually have like oil dry or stuff like that, but we always have salt in the winter. And we have shovels. We've had to shovel the truck, out because it gets stuck just like any other vehicle.
Right.
The trucks have chains that drop down underneath the tires, so it's a force multiplier for us because it does allow us to get to a lot of places in bad weather.
That's really nice. Like, say there was a big like thunderstorm though, and somebody called 911. Like, how do you get to them if it's like lightning and thundering like really bad?
Yeah, we just go.
You just go.
We just go.
Just go and go with it.
And that's where our training kicks in. We spend a lot of time training on power lines, how they work, flood waters, rescue situations. Like, even though those are all separate training areas, but in a time like what you're talking about, like a lot of times it all comes together. So you're studying power lines and you're studying flood water. Well, if it's a thunderstorm and you have flooding, you're going to have both those, and that's what we learn to deal with.
Gotcha. What about your your ranking system? Like, how does that work?
So it kind of varies between fire districts, but generally, like, you have your privates, your engineers, who is the guy who drives the truck. That's a specialty in itself because there's a whole lot to know that goes on, like operating that truck.
We got to watch out. Everything's going on.
Right. There's a whole lot going on, and believe it or not, there's a lot of math involved.
Oh, really?
With water flow and diameter of the hoses, and then you start talking about elevation and different floors. There's a lot of math that goes into that. But our guys are all really good. Then you have a lieutenant who's kind of your senior guy. He can drive. He can lead the fire truck. He's kind of a jack of all trades. Okay. And then above that is the captain. He's just basically a more experienced lieutenant. He's got a lot more experience underneath him.
He calls the shots too, right?
Yeah. And then above that is the deputy chief. So each crew has a deputy chief. And he oversees day-to-day operations completely. Like, the responsibility, 90% responsibility is on him of what happens throughout the day. And then the three deputy chiefs answer to the fire chief. And then the fire chief answers to the board, which is elected by the citizens.
Okay. Okay. So that's when they have the elections and then they have the board.
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense. Sense. What about like as far as like discipline? Like, if say like somebody on the crew like disobeys the chief or something like that, do you guys have like a discipline system with that?
Yeah, absolutely we do.
Okay.
Discipline is huge. We're all good friends here. Like, this it's family. But there is occasional time or somebody doesn't show up to work, or which doesn't happen. But if that was to happen, then of course, there's no doubt like disciplinary action is going to be taken, and everybody knows that. So We've just been really fortunate. We have a good group of firefighters here, and luckily we don't have to worry about disciplinary issues too often.
Right, right. Well, that's why you hire good firefighters too.
Yeah.
You know, makes it work better. So if anybody else wants any more questions, they can leave in the comment section below, and I could probably put a link to the website too, your
Sure.
website. Is there a lot of like resources on there too?
There's quite a bit of stuff on there. Resources as far as
Like fire safety or like, you know, any kind of stuff in general.
Yeah, all that's on there.
Okay.
And then you can also find us on Facebook, of course, Instagram, and we're on all the social media sites as well.
Okay. One more question I just remembered. What about like, you know how people have like, what do you call it, fire alarms like at their house? Smoke detectors, that's what they are. So do you guys go out and check those ever?
We do. We also install them. We're partnered with American Red Cross. They give us the smoke detectors, and then we install them.
Is it like anybody who's eligible, or is it like just particular?
Yeah, it's for us, it's anybody that's within the Lemay Fire District, but if you don't live in the Lemay Fire District, call your local fire district, and they most likely have the same kind of program. And then the smoke detectors that we install are 10-year smoke detectors. So you don't have to worry about change your clock, change your batteries. You just put the thing up there for 10 years, and it'll beep in 10 years and say that I'm expired, I need to be replaced. It's pretty.
And then you call the fire department again.
Right, call us back in 10 years, and it's a really great program that we have with them.
Nice. So yeah, I'll post all the information on my my video, and thank you for joining us on the show today.
Now you bet. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. So if you have any questions for him too, you can just put in the comment section below. But thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
That was good.